Greetings all, Devious Monkey here. As you can tell, I'm in my 4Runner. I just did a loop at the Brock Environmental Center. You wouldn't be happy if I didn't give you a weather report. It's 90 degrees, pretty sunny, humid, the usual hot as balls. So I just got back into the 4Runner and was blaring the AC. I got a bunch of pictures of some birds. So now that I'm cooled down a little bit, although you couldn't tell because I'm drenched, just thought that I would get into today's video. Today's video is getting out there and doing stuff. Yesterday kind of sucked because I, like I told you, thought that it was supposed to start storming around 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and I sat inside all day, itching to get out there and film and take pictures and stuff, but I didn't because I didn't want to get, stormed on, and it didn't rain or storm at all. In fact, it was sunny most of the day. So I was pretty pissed that I lost the day. And then when I finally decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go out and grill these hamburgers. Literally, I got out there, I opened the door, I walked out onto the patio, and it started lightning and thundering, and that was that. So I ended up having to cook these burgers on a George Foreman grill that I forgot that I even had and couldn't really even remember how to use it. But the point being is that, I sat around all day wanting to go outside and shoot and didn't, and it never rained, and so I wasn't gonna let that happen today. So I got up, went and got us bagels, which is our Sunday routine, did a little bit interneting just to figure some stuff out, and then I grabbed all my gear and decided that I was gonna get out there and do stuff because it was fairly sunny, and forecast shows that it's not supposed to rain today. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll find out when it happens, but I went out and went to Prosperity Bakery first to get her a loaf of this bread that she wanted and to replenish our ice cream and sorbet supply because we finished it all last night. They did tell me, because I've now become like the frickin' ice cream guy because I go there so much to buy ice cream, that they were gonna have watermelon sorbet this weekend. And I was like, oh God, I hope I get there in time. So I bought a couple of those, another lemon thyme sorbet and another baklava ice cream, just to hold us over for a couple of days. I dropped that off and I went right out, and I decided that I was gonna come here today rather than go to the woods behind the rec center and or go to the boardwalk or even back to the Vibe District. I gotta kind of mix it up a little bit. And besides, I wanted to get some nature shots, some bird shots with this lens, which I did manage to get, a couple of decent bird shots, I think. We'll find out when I get them off on the computer and zoom in. The thing about photography and videography, or anything that you want to do, is that you have to get out there and do it. Even if you do it for a long time and then you stop and you don't do it for a good spell, your skills just go to shit. I'm a prime example of that. I used to shoot all the time, constantly. And this, we're talking models back in Chicago. Like I said, when I was shooting models, I shot every day. I had a studio built in my condo. I had a couple of friends and a girlfriend that were very accommodating. They were always ready to shoot anytime I had an idea. And I lived and breathed photography, and I shot every day. Everywhere I went, I had that camera with me because you never know when, a situation will arise and you want to get a shot. And that's not just shooting people, that's just shooting anything. Hence the walkabouts where I went out and I walked around, or I'd go to the botanical gardens, or I'd go to a forest preserve or something like that. And I would just shoot and practice. Any magazine that I looked at, when I saw the pictures, in my mind I was like, okay, how did they do that? What kind of lighting did they use? What kind of settings did they use? And I was constantly trying to recreate that stuff with my own gear and my own skills, or lack of skills, because that's how you build the skill set, is by practicing. Now, when I made the switch to video, holy mackerel, did I suck. I mean, I still do, I think. I mean, it's getting a little bit better because the gear takes care of a lot of the stuff that it didn't before. Like stabilization, color science, and better lenses, sharper, and da-da-da-da-da, and this, that, and the other thing. But that only goes so far. You still have to know how to use your gear, and you still have to have an eye, and you still have to practice constantly, which is why I carry my cameras with me everywhere I go. I am constantly shooting video and shooting still shots every single day. Even if I'm stuck inside, I'm still shooting stuff. Now, I may not cut that into a video. I may not post it anywhere, especially the pictures. The pictures, I have a real hard time posting in places. And I usually used to put all that stuff up on Flickr, and Flickr was a big deal for a while. And then they got bought and it turned to shit, and then people left and blah, blah, blah. I guess they're trying to sort of make Flickr a thing again. I don't know. I guess the reason I'm telling you all this shit is because I'm trying to encourage you to get out there and create. You have to. I mean, if this is something that you want to do, for me, it's a passion. It's why I constantly say, I didn't create this YouTube channel to become an influencer and to get brand deals and to, you know, build a studio, you know, like with a ton of people and do all this kind of stuff. I'm a solo one-man band. And I found that out even before I even moved here, back when I was trying to get into video way back then, is that people just flaked out and I didn't have anybody to do anything with, you know, that were consistent. And that's okay. I don't need anybody to hold my hand. It'd be nice to have a bunch of people, you know, like-minded that like to do stuff that I wanted to do, but it's okay that there isn't, because I don't mind grabbing my stuff and going out by myself and shooting and coming home and sitting in my studio and editing and you know, I mean, I did have a real problem with that for a long time, but I think it's pretty obvious now that I've broken that bad habit, because I have posted every day, almost every day, for over 120 something days. I'm doing it. I'm doing what I want to do, and I encourage you to do so as well. I've been noticing a lot of people, a lot of the creators that are always just like, just do it, you know, just get out there and post something, you know, every day. Try to post something every day, you know, or as often as possible, so that you're just doing it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have the perfect music. It doesn't have to have perfect editing. It doesn't have to have perfect color science. It doesn't have to have the perfect thumbnail, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm talking about YouTube, of course. You can post that shit, and then you can look back on it and see where you were compared to where you are when you're back looking at it. I look back through my stuff. Has it changed? Yeah, I've changed my studio a lot. I've changed my gear a lot. And I think I've changed my skill set. It's definitely changed my editing a lot, because I never used to, especially when it came to video or anything. I hate editing pictures. It's why I always say I'm a photographer, not a digital illustrator. I don't take a shitty snap and then spend 6 hours in Photoshop trying to fix it to make it like this grand masterpiece. I try to get as much stuff as right with the settings, so that the camera, you know, in camera I take a picture that really requires some resizing depending on where I'm posting it, so that I can post it, and that's it. And I try to do the same thing with the video editing. That's why I don't color grade. You know, I don't record audio externally for the most part. I mean, this Rode Wireless Go has become my go-to audio capture device, because it's amazing. The A6600, it's perfect. I've got, you know, my settings. I'm at 1/50th, 24 frames a second, 1080. I don't even shoot in 4K. I did the other day, and it just introduced a whole host of shit that I don't want to deal with. The least of which is that it took a hell of a lot longer to render and to post and to do everything, and a lot of the settings were different, and I didn't like it, because I got a flow. I've got a 1080, 24 frames per second flow. So that's the way I went with it. I will full well admit that I just kind of do what I do, and I haven't really branched out and tried too many new things with Final Cut. It's still daunting to me, which is why my videos are fairly boring. You know, it's just me blathering on into the camera. Occasionally I take you out with me when I'm going somewhere. It'll change when I get back on the road. You'll get a lot of pictures of me in this vehicle talking like this, but with moving background. I guess the bottom line is that that's the only way to improve, is to go out there and create. And unfortunately, creation in this world also involves editing and posting and sharing that stuff that you do, because you're never going to get any better if you're the only one that's looking at your stuff. You know, I've said it before, we're our own worst critics, and we can sit there and go through, oh, that's not right, that doesn't look right, or I could do that differently, and all that stuff. And pretty soon you have hard drives filled with footage and with pictures that you don't post anywhere. I love doing this. I love buying gear. I love playing with it. I love trying new things. I love taking my cameras and taking pictures everywhere. And I actually do like posting pictures. Now, my Instagram feed, it's the same thing. I take pictures, you know, of my daily life, of shit that I've got going on, or whatever the hell I feel like posting. I do not use my Instagram as a business feed. I don't try to make sure all the pictures are in the same scheme of color and theme and so on and so forth. I take a picture, whatever the hell I want, and I post it. That's what I've always done since I first downloaded Instagram years ago. It's why I've got over 4,000 pictures on my Instagram feed, because I post a lot of picters. Now I'm gonna get back into posting stuff on Flickr. So I'm gonna link all that stuff. You already know my website. It's thedvsmonkey.com, and I have to update that as well, because I have really old videos in there. I mean, I've got hundreds of over 100 videos to choose from now, whereas back then I only had like a handful. So I'm gonna post some new stuff on all my sites. I post not every day, but most days I post something on Instagram. Obviously on YouTube, I post a video pretty much every day. I'll start posting stuff on Flickr. The one thing I stopped doing that I started, and I only did a couple of them, or maybe even only one of them, is that I have a WordPress blog. Yeah, blog. I would post pictures from a walkabout, when I did that. I used to do that a lot, back in Chicago, and I think I need to start doing it again. And it'll be a neat way for me to sort of like go on a walkabout and share that with you. So that's what I'm gonna do. Long video, longer than lately, but I had to get this out there, and I had to cool down. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to sit here and talk to you and sort of bring you along. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for joining me as always. Like, subscribe, and all that shit. And remember, kids, forward and up.